Hello gardeners, I'm Lourdes, the creator of Native Plant Channel, whose purpose it is to help gardeners garden in a more environmentally friendly way. And I do this by taking you and showing you not only what's happening in my garden, but through other gardens throughout the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. So welcome, and I hope that I am able to help you create a more environmentally friendly garden. It's the end of April here in my garden in northern New Jersey, and as you can see, I have not cleaned it up yet. I have monitored it for weeds over the past several weeks. I've pulled out things like hairy bittercress and purple dead nettle and garlic mustard and mugwort. The reason for that is to make sure that invasives do not become a huge problem in the garden. So I do monitor it for that. But the leaves and stems have all been left up. And the reason for that is that they protect and create homes for eggs, for pupa, for many of our pollinators, our bees, our butterflies. They overwinter in the leaves and the stems, and they need to be left up throughout the winter so that they can complete their life cycle once it begins warming up in the spring. Some sources say that you can begin cleaning up your garden as soon as the daytime temperatures stay in the 50s. I prefer to wait till later. That seems a bit early, and as a general rule of thumb, I like the theory that says that you should wait as long as possible and do as little as possible. Here in northern New Jersey, over the past 2 weeks, the temperatures have stayed in the 60s and even into the 70s with minor exceptions. This allows more of our pollinators to be out and about. For example, the spicebush swallowtail overwinters in leaves and does not emerge until mid or late May. So even end of April is still a little bit early for things like our beautiful black spicebush swallowtail. Some people think that mulching their leaves and then using them in garden beds is a good way of using the leaves and protecting our pollinators. But think about it. When you're mulching your leaves, whatever eggs and pupa were in there are being destroyed by the lawnmower. It's much better to just leave your leaves as mulch in your garden beds. Not to mention that leaves, when they break down, return nutrients to the soil that they have used up during the season. So it's actually making your soil better. Why go out and buy heavy bags of mulch and have to spread them when the leaves can do it for you for free and return lots of nutrients to the soil? So today I am going to be cleaning up my garden, and I'm so excited to be out here doing so and to share with you the before and after photos. Let's start by taking a look at what's coming up, and I'm going to start with a wonderful plant that I love, and those are our violets. Throughout my garden there are a lot of violets. Unfortunately, often people are encouraged to remove them from their lawns. I don't understand this. These are beautiful flowers. They make a great low-growing ground cover that needs no maintenance. They come and go on their own, never need to be deadheaded or cut back, and are the host plant of a gorgeous group of butterflies called fritillaries, whose caterpillars can only eat violets. We would have no fritillaries in the same way that without milkweeds there would be no monarchs. How many times do you hear gardeners wanting a low-growing plant that will cover their soil, grow in sun or shade, doesn't need any work, and that is basically what you have with violets. But these same gardeners are using herbicides to kill theirs when nature is usually giving it to them for free. If you read any gardening magazines or articles, you're probably already aware that the top gardening trend for the last few years is to garden in ways that help the environment, whether that is protecting our pollinators, leaving stumps and logs and dead trees that will support our birds, and many other ways. And part of that is using native plants. So hopefully, though, instead of a trend, this is just a new way of thinking that will continue in the many, many decades to come. Because we do need to consider our environment, and we have to accept our gardens as the ecosystems that sustain so much life, and that it's our job to steward that ecosystem. These two beds outside the gate are completely exposed to deer, which are a large problem for me. So anything out here has to be either very deer tolerant or enclosed in a metal cage, which you will see. So for example, the arborvitae is enclosed in the metal cage. Take a look here at Pearly Everlasting. And Pearly Everlasting is the host plant for the American lady butterfly. There are several butterflies cruising over the plant, laying their eggs on it. And that's such a wonderful thing. I always get so excited in April when I see the American ladies returning and laying their eggs on the Pearly Everlasting. In about 2 weeks, those eggs will hatch and I will have caterpillars. Many of those caterpillars will not survive because they'll be eaten by birds or other animals, and that's just part of the circle of life. But here I know that many of them will make it and will turn into the adult butterfly that you see flying around. So now I'm going to get to work and cut back my grasses, my perennials. I'm going to try and leave as much of this material right in the bed, returning the nutrients to the soil and keeping whatever eggs and pupa there might be in them near the original plant. Well, friends, sometimes life gets in the way. I was not able to finish the cleanup, and it took me till a week later to finish. But let me show you what was in bloom the first week of May. Here we have dwarf crested iris planted from bare root plants 2 years ago. So you can see how nicely they've spread. And this is a lovely plant that stays less than 1 foot tall and forms a nice mat on the ground. Next up, we have Eastern Columbine. Eastern Columbine is a great plant for hummingbirds, and you have this bright red color brightening up your garden. Only the red and yellow columbines are native to the east. All other colors are not. Here we have Sedum ternatum, a native sedum. This is a good one for very shady areas. It does well in shade and stays very low, a great ground cover. Blueberries are such an important plant to include in your garden. This is the host plant for some butterflies, and it is also very important for specialist bees who can only live on the pollen of blueberries, not to mention your fruit and your great fall color. I want to thank those of you who email me or comment on the videos and talk about how much they've helped you or talk about how I should be making more. That really inspires me. The fun is in hearing from you. So please subscribe, comment, join Native Plant Channel's Facebook group. You can also join in on Instagram, which is pretty new for Native Plant Channel. You'll be able to learn things that you can use at home. Thank you for watching Native Plant Channel and for any small step you are taking to make your garden a home for our pollinators and helping to create a healthy ecosystem. Let's continue to bring on the buzz in our gardens.